Jason Williams manslaughter case. Jason Williams was one of the most charismatic big men in the NBA during the late 90s, known for his hustle and personality with the New Jersey Nets. But off the court, things took a dark turn. In 2002, Williams was at home showing off a shotgun to friends when it accidentally discharged and killed his limo driver, Kostas Christofi. Instead of calling for help, Williams reportedly tried to cover it up, wiped down the weapon, and told everyone in the house to stay quiet. After years of legal battles, he was eventually convicted of covering up the shooting and sentenced to prison. The story was huge at the time, but slowly faded away, becoming one of the most shocking yet forgotten crimes connected to an NBA player. Gilbert Arenas brings a gun to the locker room. This one feels like something out of a movie. In 2009, Washington Wizards guard Gilbert Arenas brought multiple guns to the team locker room during a dispute over a card game debt with teammate Javaris Crittenton. And if that wasn't wild enough, Crittenton also brought a gun and reportedly pointed it at Arenas. This wasn't some private thing. It happened at the Wizards' practice facility. The league handed down massive suspensions. Arenas' reputation never recovered, and Crittenton's life spiraled even further. A few years later, he was convicted of manslaughter in an unrelated case. Two teammates, both armed, over a card game, and somehow this story rarely gets mentioned anymore. Latrell Sprewell chokes his coach. In 1997, Warriors guard Latrell Sprewell physically attacked his head coach, PJ Carlesimo, during a practice. Not just a shove or an argument, he straight up choked him for about 10 seconds until teammates pulled him off. Then, he came back 20 minutes later and threw a punch. The NBA suspended him for 68 games, which was unprecedented at the time. But here's the wildest part. After the scandal, Sprewell got picked up by the Knicks, balled out in the playoffs, and later signed a massive $60 million contract. When asked why he turned down a smaller extension later, he said, "I've got a family to feed." It became one of the most infamous quotes in sports history. The Suns' cocaine scandal. In the late 1980s, a major drug investigation rocked the Phoenix Suns organization. Multiple current and former players were implicated in a cocaine ring that tied them to local dealers and even federal charges. Names like James Edwards and Walter Davis came up in connection with the investigation. And while some cooperated with authorities, others denied involvement. Court documents revealed drug deals happening during the season, some even in team hotels. The scandal nearly derailed careers and forced the NBA to strengthen its drug testing policies. For a league trying to clean up its image post-ABA merger, this was a nightmare, and one the NBA doesn't bring up much anymore. The referee scandal that went deeper than you think. Everyone remembers Tim Donaghy. The NBA referee caught betting on games he officiated. But what many forget is that there were serious questions about whether he acted alone. Donaghy later claimed that the NBA manipulated games to boost ratings and extend playoff series. He also pointed fingers at other refs and league insiders. The FBI launched an investigation, but things were quietly wrapped up after Donaghy's conviction. Some say the league covered up a much larger scandal to protect its image and the integrity of the game. It's one of those "we'll never know how deep it really went" moments in sports history. Michael Jordan's retirement in 1993. When Michael Jordan suddenly retired in 1993 at the peak of his powers, it shocked the world. He had just won 3 straight championships and was the face of the league. The official reason? He said he was mentally exhausted and wanted to honor his late father. But behind the scenes, rumors swirled that Jordan's extreme gambling habits had caught the attention of the NBA, and that Commissioner David Stern quietly suspended him to protect the league. Jordan denied it, the league denied it, and after 17 months he returned to the Bulls like nothing happened. To this day, it remains one of the biggest NBA what-ifs. Dennis Rodman's North Korea visits. No one, and I mean no one, could have predicted that Dennis Rodman would become best friends with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Starting in 2013, Rodman made multiple trips to North Korea, even singing "Happy Birthday" to Kim at one event. He called Kim a friend for life and claimed he was helping bridge gaps between nations. The US government was not on board, and neither was the NBA. The league distanced itself completely. Rodman's trips were chaotic, controversial, and absolutely surreal. An NBA Hall of Famer becoming the unofficial ambassador to North Korea? You can't make that up. The Tony Parker-Brent Barry affair. This scandal flew under the radar but caused major drama inside one of the NBA's most respected franchises. Tony Parker, the Spurs star point guard, was married to actress Eva Longoria. His teammate Brent Barry was also married, and allegedly Parker had an affair with Barry's wife. When texts between them surfaced, both marriages ended shortly after. The Spurs, known for their discipline and tight culture, managed to keep it out of the public eye for the most part. But it reportedly damaged relationships inside the locker room. It's like a soap opera subplot in the middle of a championship run. Kobe Bryant's sexual assault case. In 2003, Kobe Bryant was arrested in Colorado on charges of sexual assault. He admitted to having sex with a hotel employee, but claimed it was consensual. The case went to court and gained national attention, especially as it happened during his prime with the Lakers. Eventually, the criminal charges were dropped after the accuser chose not to testify, and a civil settlement was reached. Kobe lost endorsements, his reputation took a massive hit, and for a time his legacy was uncertain. While he rehabilitated his image in later years, this moment was one of the biggest controversies in NBA history, and one people rarely talk about now: Magic Johnson's HIV announcement. In 1991, Magic Johnson stunned the world by announcing he had tested positive for HIV. Back then, there was a lot of fear and misinformation surrounding the virus. Some players didn't even want to share the court with him, including Karl Malone. Magic's retirement sparked a global conversation about HIV and helped change perceptions. But it also exposed deep stigma in sports. He later returned for the 1992 All-Star Game and eventually made a brief comeback with the Lakers in 1996. Magic turned tragedy into advocacy, but the initial announcement sent shockwaves through the NBA. The malice at the palace. This is one of the few scandals people do remember, but most don't realize how close it came to ending careers. In 2004, a fight broke out between the Pacers and Pistons that spilled into the stands. Ron Artest charged into the crowd and punched a fan. Stephen Jackson followed. Chairs were thrown, fans got beat up, and the league looked completely out of control. The fallout was brutal. Artest missed the rest of the season, and multiple players were suspended or fined. It was a black eye for the league, one that forced major changes in security and player conduct policies. Derrick Rose's civil case. In 2016, Derrick Rose stood trial in a civil case involving accusations of sexual assault from a former girlfriend. The case was graphic and controversial, with disturbing text messages and testimony. Rose was eventually found not liable by the jury, but the trial dominated headlines and raised serious questions about behavior, consent, and athlete privilege. The NBA never disciplined him, and public conversation moved on quickly. But it remains one of the more serious, largely forgotten scandals in recent memory.